On Tomorrow's World Today, we explore the cutting-edge advances that are shaping 4 different worlds. The world of inspiration, where the wonders of the natural world amaze and inspire us. The world of creation, where ideas come to life from traditional arts. The world of innovation, where ideas and inventions move us all forward. The world of production, where innovations are mass-produced to improve our lives. From Inventionland World Headquarters, here's your host, George Davison.
Hi everybody, I'm George Davison. In 1854, my great-grandfather, who's right here in this picture, founded the Davison Sand and Gravel Company. And he started it all when he was just 14 years old. And over the course of 125 years, it became the largest operation of its type in Western Pennsylvania. For companies to withstand the test of time, no matter what they're producing, they have to think about sustainability when it comes to creating their final product. So let's say you were making a beverage. You'd be thinking about the location of your water source, because it's gonna have a direct impact on what it's gonna cost you to make your product. If you have a secondary ingredient, such as barley, that you're gonna add to that beverage of yours, you're gonna be thinking about how to cost-effectively transport that barley into your beverage operations. Today, companies are also considering how to make their beverages as sustainable as possible without sacrificing their taste, right? Customers are demanding good environmental practices from the companies they're buying their products from. So I'm going to be sending Greg to the world of production to explore how one beverage company is using smart business practices and state-of-the-art technology to make the beverages that we've all come to know and love. Cheers.
I am at the Molson Coors Beverage Company in Golden, Colorado, home of the first Coors brewery that opened 150 years ago. I'm going to meet with Rachel Snyder. She's the Vice President of Sustainability and Environmental Health and Safety. We're going to discuss Molson Coors' ongoing efforts to reduce their environmental impact and promote sustainable practices throughout their entire operation. Hi, Rachel.
Hey, Greg, how are you?
Great, nice to meet you. Rachel, one of the most impressive things about the Coors family is that they've been improving and innovating for 5 generations. And what a lot of people may not realize, even though it wasn't called sustainability back then, they've been implementing these kinds of practices since the 1950s.
They sure did. So the aluminum can started in the late 1950s, as well as one of the first recycling programs in the United States. A lot of people don't know that. And you see that spirit of innovation continuing today with our big G150 project and all the water and energy efficiencies we're going to put together with that. And speaking of recycling, I'm really proud that 99.6% of our packaging today is recyclable.
Well, I can't wait to learn more about that. So what else do you have to show me?
Well, let's go up to Bill's and I'll show you a whole lot more.
Rachel, as I said, the sustainability practices began with Coors back in the 1950s. What can you tell me about those early initiatives?
So in the late 1950s, Bill Coors pioneered the 2-piece aluminum can. It took years of research, millions of dollars of investment, a lot of trial and error. But within 12 years, aluminum can had replaced the steel can. And part of that was because Bill Coors actually encouraged the rest of the industry to adopt the can rather than keeping it proprietary to Coors. I think he really recognized the benefits not only of less material and the opportunity for more recycling, but also, for us, better tasting colder beer.
Excellent. Well, tell me about that first Cash for Cans program.
So, in addition to inventing the can, they pioneered a recycling program. 1 cent per can. You brought them back. It was distributor-led, and you could get 1 cent per can. So you think about our recycling programs now, that was really the start of it in the United States. And he really faced a little bit of resistance. There were folks that didn't want industry kind of playing in the space and really thought it should be up to consumers. But it was pretty successful.
Well, I guess back then at a penny a can, a kid could do pretty well.
They could do very well indeed.
All right, well, I know that as things have come along, sustainability means more than just recycling now. It also means resource management. What can you tell me about that?
As a beer manufacturer, it all starts with barley, and that means it all starts in brewing. So let's head over to brewing, and we'll talk about it there.
You lead the way. Barley is obviously a vitally important part of the brewing process. It's also a very important part of your resource management program, which I imagine means partnering with farmers.
It does. So we partner with farmers to adopt better, more sustainable agricultural practices. In fact, 100% of our barley farmers have formally recognized those standards. And since 2018, we've paid out more than $6 billion in incentives to farmers for adopting more sustainable practices.
That's 2018, but this all started a long time ago.
It did. So all the way back in 1946, and we call it the Better Barley, Better Beer program. It was a way to partner with farmers to ensure that we had a reliable source of good quality, high yield barley and give them stability in their livelihoods as well. In addition to that, we have a whole team of research and development agronomists who work with our farmers on growing practices, water use management, tillage, all of those types of things. And in addition, they also help work on cultivars of barley that could be adapted to the varying conditions across the Mountain West.
Great. Well, that means whenever you're having a beer at home, you can be assured that sustainable practices have been a part of the process from beginning to end.
Absolutely. And to continue that story, Peter Coors is waiting for you over by the kettles.
Hi, Peter. Hey, Greg. Welcome to Golden.
Thank you very much. This room is so impressive. Now, these kettles look like they have been here for a while, but they're really state-of-the-art.
They are. We've kept the copper domes because they're beautiful, but we replaced the bottom of the kettle because they just wear out over the years. So we replaced those with stainless steel because it's a more efficient way to heat our mash. So you talked to Rachel about the barley. We take that barley and we cook it here in this room before we send it off to fermentation, where we make it into some of the greatest beer in the world.
Great. Well, what's the next step?
We're off to filtration.
Peter, I know that Molson Coors is really committed to reducing energy consumption. How does cold filtration help with that?
So for Coors Light, we chill the beer down to near freezing temperatures and filter out anything that could do harm to that beer. By doing that, we reduce the need for external heating sources and make a very energy efficient beer.
Okay, well, how much energy are we talking about?
For a packaging line that does 11 million cases a year, if it switches over to cold filtration, it'll save about 90 million megajoules. To put that in perspective, the average American home uses 39,000 megajoules a year. So that's enough energy to power 2,300 American homes.
Wow. And what are some of the other benefits to cold filtration?
By keeping our beer cold, we protect the flavor and the aroma of the product. So it's a great example of Molson Coors delivering a very high quality product in a very energy efficient way.
Excellent. Well, I know that Rachel's outside right now. She's at the creek. She's going to teach me more about how Coors is reducing their environmental impacts.
All right, let's go.
Rachel, everybody's pretty familiar with the old adage, reduce, reuse, recycle. And that's a pretty easy thing to visualize when it comes to materials, a little less so whenever it comes to water. But water usage, water management, water conservation, very much on everybody's mind these days.
And it's really no different for us. So we try to apply a continuous improvement mindset in improving the efficiency of all of our operations. And that naturally extends to energy and water use as well. So to reduce consumption and the intensity of our use of those resources.
Well, what are some of the things that Molson Coors is doing to that end?
So we use technologies to reduce our water consumption, as well as optimize our water treatment processes. And then we have some initiatives at a few of our breweries to actually reclaim or reuse and recycle the water that we use. This allows us to not only make our beer more efficiently, but also to reduce our environmental impact.
Right, and reducing your environmental impact is very important, and it does not stop at your brewery door.
It does not. We also partner with local organizations here in Colorado, Texas, and other locations to really look at water conservation and water restoration at a watershed level. And that includes supporting land management practices and education that is going to help that watershed be healthier.
Excellent. I know that there are some reduce, reuse, and recycle initiatives going on the production line too, and I'd really love to see that.
Yeah, we've got some really great things going on in packaging, so let's go take a look.
It seems to be, from what I've seen so far, that the spirit of innovation has been a part of the Coors legacy from the very beginning. I mean, every part of the process has been looked at with an eye towards improvement or increased sustainability, from the brewing right down to the packaging.
Absolutely, and I'm really proud to tell you that 99.6% of our packaging today is recyclable, including all these aluminum cans you see here, as well as all of our glass bottles. Another thing that most people don't realize is that less than 4.5% of our packaging is plastic. That's mostly aluminum and glass.
Well, how are you able to do that?
Got a couple initiatives going on to eliminate plastics. We're phasing out PET bottles in the US and Canada. And the number two, which is a very extensive project, we are replacing a whole bunch of equipment across our US and Canadian breweries to be able to get rid of those single-use plastic rings that you see on 4-packs and 6-packs. So what will happen is that'll actually get wrapped in a fiberboard carton wrap. We think that'll save about 1.5 million or more pounds of plastic every year.
That is a big break from the way things have been done in the past. Now, is that going to impact quality at all?
No, absolutely not. So as you can imagine, before we implement something that massive that's going to cost us about $85 million, we test it pretty thoroughly. So we did a lot of work to make sure that the packaging was really durable, that it wouldn't, break open while you were carrying it, that it's stackable. That's pretty important for our customers when you go into the store to see it, and that the structure will actually maintain over time, including all the way to your house.
All of that is really amazing, and this has been great to see, but now I understand Peter has something really big to show me, and I'm very excited to see that, so I'm going to go catch up with him.
Okay, let's go to fermentation.
Peter, explain fermentation.
It's the process of converting sugar into alcohol, and we generate a lot of CO2 that we collect and reuse here on site. We've been using these box fermenters for over 60 years now. But enough about the past. Let's go upstairs on the roof, take a look around and see what the future holds.
Let's go. Wow, so this is the future.
It is. In 2020, we broke ground on a multi-year revitalization of the Golden Brewery. In 2023, Coors Brewing Company is celebrating 150 years of brewing legacy. So in honor of that, we've named this project G150.
All right, well, what are the benefits of G150?
There are so many. We're going to save millions of gallons of water. We're going to save energy, and we're going to reduce our greenhouse gases. We can't wait to get our first brews to the new cellar because I think the performance is going to be even better than expected. And as you know, Rachel expects a lot.
I know, I do understand that. One other thing that I understand is from the very beginning when you broke ground, sustainability was in mind.
It was. There were some old buildings that sat on this site. When we tore them down, we either recycled or reused 98% of that material.
That's excellent. Well, I want to find out more about this, but it's getting kind of hot up here. So why don't we head down to your office and we can talk more?
Sounds good.
The next 150 years and hopefully beyond for this company, which is really what sustainability is actually about. How do you invest and evolve yourself for the long haul? I think we're going to see continued evolution of our practices in agriculture. I think we'll see more efficiencies driven in the actual manufacturing and brewing process itself, an evolution of recycling and materials infrastructure in the United States and elsewhere, and including how we use packaging and what materials we use in that packaging so that our consumers can continue to celebrate life's moments with a really great cold Coors Light.
Well, Peter, tell me, what does it feel like to be spearheading such an iconic project?
It's truly an honor. My Uncle Bill built the brewery as we know it today 60 years ago, and it's my honor to be able to keep that legacy going and put my fingerprint on this iconic location.
What are some of the things that you're hoping to accomplish with G150?
It's really about making this brewery more efficient. So we're putting in new cooling systems, which will save energy. We're putting in new filtration systems that will save beer. And we're putting in new cleaning systems that'll save water. So overall, we're going to make our beer that much more efficiently, so that our consumers can enjoy our high-quality Coors Light in a most responsible way possible.
Peter, a lot of companies are focused on reducing their carbon footprint, but carbon capture has been a part of your standard practice for quite a while. G150, however, is going to really raise the efficiency on that.
Our company goal is to reduce emissions from direct operations by 50% by 2025, and that's based on a 2016 baseline. We're really setting us up for the next generations to come to make great, high-quality beer.
So you're looking ahead at the next 150 years.
We are. You know, I stand on the shoulders of giants, and my hope is that someday my kids and grandkids can do what I've done.
That's awesome. Well, we've gotten a bird's eye view of G150, but now I want to see the inside of it.
Let's go grab some hard hats and meet up with Rachel inside the G150 cellar.
Peter, back in your office, we talked about carbon capture and reducing your carbon footprint and the investment that you're making into those technologies. And we're looking at that investment.
We are. This is the G150 construction site in action, but wait till you see what's around the corner.
All right. Wow. Peter, this is amazing. These are enormous. How many are there?
They're not all in yet, but there'll be 62 fermenters in total when we're finished. Hey, Rachel.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Rachel. Peter, tell me a little bit more about how these tanks work.
These vertical fermenters are designed so that when we drain out the beer, every drop goes over to packaging and can be enjoyed by our consumers.
Molson Coors really has taken sustainable practices and made it the heart of what you do. You have a whole holistic approach that involves water management, energy efficiency, waste reduction, even responsible sourcing.
Well, when you have a legacy as long as we do, it's pretty natural to take the long view. We've got a really proud history. We've accomplished a lot. We know that there's more work to do.
And I'm just excited that we're investing in the Golden Brewery to make it the most efficient brewery in the network. We're always looking for innovative ways to make our process more efficient and reduce waste. Carrying on the legacy of my family to make great beer for today and great beer for tomorrow.
Brewing beer for tomorrow's world. Well, this has been a great day. What else do you have to show me?
Let's go up to Bill's Pub, have a Coors Light, and talk about what we've seen.
All right.
When my boss came to me and asked if I'd be willing to serve as the leader of this project, my first response was, I get to rebuild this brewery like nobody since Uncle Bill. He is a giant in the beer business. When I think about the 5 generations, each generation has been able to put their fingerprint on this brewery, and this is going to be my fingerprint on Coors for now and for generations to come.
So Mary, I hear there's a big story behind this Bill's Bar.
Yeah, I think Peter will tell you about that when he gets
So I was
here.
curious about all those beers.
George, you made
behind
it.
Hey, Greg.
It's good to see you. George, let me introduce you to Rachel Snyder.
Hi, Rachel.
Peter Coors.
Hey, Peter.
George Davison.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
You know, on Tomorrow's World, we want to know the future of things. So can you tell me about the future of Coors?
Well, the future still starts with barley because that's what we need to make our great beer. So we always want to keep our mind on growing practices and the cultivars for our barley. So we do a lot of work to make sure that we have barley that's going to be great for the changing growing conditions of the Mountain West. So that's kind of the front end. On the back end, let's talk about packaging.
Okay.
Got some great examples of some innovations we've implemented recently. So by the end of 2025, you aren't going to see our 6-pack in a plastic green anymore. It's going to be in these nice fiber wraps.
This is going to replace those old plastic rings that go around to hold a 6-pack?
Yeah.
That's going away?
Yep, all of our products, you won't see it on there by 2025.
That's wonderful. Well, what other initiatives do we have going on?
Well, George, we just came from what they're calling G150, and I mean, you know what a technology geek I am, but let me tell you, what's going on in this new brewing process, innovative, sustainable, amazing, and Peter can tell you more about it than I can.
Yeah, we call it G150 because this is our 150th year of making beer here in Golden. So we're remodeling the brewery, bringing it up to the 21st century so we can save water, save energy, and reduce our emissions. Nice. We're not only investing here in Golden, but we're investing across our supply chain to make our beer as sustainable as possible. But before I tell you more, Mary, can I have 4 Coors Lights? So, consumers are looking for brands that support their values. Sustainability is part of our family legacy and is a priority for our company for years to come.
I've heard that your family has a history of sustainable practices that go way back. Is that right?
It does.
Peter's uncle Bill, Bill Coors, helped not only pioneer the two-piece aluminum can, but also institute the first recycling program for cans in the United States. So it was cash for cans. That's what you see on that little calendar there. And you could bring back your cans for a penny each.
And that's all the way back when?
Started in the late 1950s, and as you can see, extended into the 70s.
That's fabulous.
So our corporate motto is bringing people together to enjoy all of life's moments. So I think we should have a Coors Light and keep chatting.
That's a great idea, Peter.
Thank you.
All right. So here's to the next 150 years and beyond.
Cheers.
Cheers.